face their former teams. The Alouettes were humbled by the Rough Riders last week. Well, Bethel-Thompson, he did not have a great game. Meanwhile, Cody Fajardo and his Elks dropped a dramatic game as well. Will that baby remain asleep? Who will win? We will find out from Montreal coming up.
Cody Fajardo is back in Montreal, and his first two starts as an Edmonton Elk didn't go as planned. He played okay, but his team didn't win. How much would Cody love to play well and beat these Montreal Alouettes?
McLeod, Bethel-Thompson, he's got a pretty good roster around him. Obviously, there's some pieces missing tonight. I'm certain he wants to play better and do what this team brought him here to do, and that's be that veteran backup quarterback that they need.
The Edmonton Elks are looking for an identity. I say this man needs to be the face of it. Justin Rankin, over 130 yards all purpose last week, runs furious, mad, and angry, but he gets the yards.
Mad, furious, and angry. What a combination. The Alouettes adding a little insurance to the roster this week. On Tuesday, the club announced the signing of 4 players, including this man. Deontay Evans is officially back. The veteran DB returns for the Owls after a third stint being with the club back in 2019 and also back in 2023. And we are back as well from Hamilton. Kate Burness alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall as we get set for a little Friday night football. We will chat all things quarterbacks with these guys in just a moment. But first, we bring in our Kenzie Lalonde. And Kenzie, we are also going to be talking about the quarterbacks, and I think a lot of eyes tonight on Cody Fajardo. And look, he said this week, some games mean more than others. This is one of them. I appreciate the honesty in that statement, and we expect another big game from him tonight.
You've got 2 highly motivated quarterbacks this week. One wanting to put on a show, Cody Fajardo, and the other looking to bounce back, McLeod Bethel-Thompson. Fajardo was very reflective this week when he looks back on his time in Montreal, saying it validated a lot of things for him, that he is a good enough quarterback to win a Grey Cup, and that he is good enough to win consistently. Sure, he shared that you play that what-if game. What if the Alouettes won that East Final last year? Would things be different? Even though things ended abruptly in Montreal, Fajardo said the fans have been so supportive of him in Edmonton. He even said he's been playing more free in Edmonton. He's letting the game come to him, whereas during his time in Montreal, he kind of had that I got something to prove mindset. And so for Bethel-Thompson and the Alouettes here tonight, they also would love to bounce back and get a win here. Bethel-Thompson saying he went back to basics this week and really feels this will be a gut check for him and his group. And no better time to go back to basics than with the volume of injuries right now for the Alouettes on defense. You guys touched on it. Deontay Evans back in an Alouettes uniform. This time last week, he had a full-time job in Chicago, and with that, he will be at field corner with Ruffin and Ento out. Also, Dequoy sideline, as is Justin Lawrence. So Sorel Hogan-Baudet will be in the lineup taking the snaps here for the Alouettes. Kate, it kind of just feels like it's one of those games where the win has much more meaning here tonight.
Could not agree more on that one, Kenzie. And if you were born after 1988, this is called a VHS. And it's time to go back in time right now for Freaky Friday night. Look at these graphics. Let's go back to the 2017 Grey Cup champions. Ricky Ray was your starter, but MBT and Cody, both backups, will go to 2022. Enoch, do you remember this one? I'm still crying. And then, of course, 2023. We have Cody Fajardo, and he did have a chip on his shoulder that year, certainly winning a Grey Cup, and Enoch has stopped crying, so we can now come back on camera. But look, this is the storyline tonight, is these two QBs, and if we go back to December 2024 when this trade happened, I think when the schedule came out, we all thought, okay, it's going to be Davis Alexander versus Trey Ford. Well, Trey didn't play great. We know that Davis Alexander is on the 6th game now, so now you get the battle of the backups, and you got to think, both these guys want this so bad tonight. MBT coming off a not great performance, and you can't really blame the last loss on Cody Fajardo, but now they get a chance to prove that each team shouldn't have made that trade.
Yeah, when you look at Cody Fajardo, you see the improvement that the Edmonton Elks have made since he has become the starter. Yes, there's been improvement, but the wins have not come yet. And that the bottom line is they have to start winning right now. When they have to figure out who exactly is going to be the guy to be the catalyst on that team. Yes, Justin Rankin, as I said off the top, is the guy who, in my opinion, has to be the Energizer Bunny. The more he touches the ball, the better he makes this team as well. But the guy that I think the ball needs to go to a little bit more in the air is going to be Curly Gittens Jr. You look at him tonight, he's going to try and get himself open. But if Cody is able to get him the ball, the more he touches it, I think this offense will do better.
Yeah, Cody's been put under a lot of pressure because he needs to do a lot more to get W's than McLeod on the other side. Now, there's going to be a lot of conversation during this game and all the week about McLeod and Cody and these two quarterbacks. The reality is Cody Fajardo didn't get traded for McLeod Bethel-Thompson. The reality is he got traded because of Davis Alexander.
Right.
And that's really what the upgrade was, what the move was all about. It just happened to be that these two guys both these teams needed backup quarterbacks. So, look, Cody knows what's going on. Cody understands the league. Cody understands the move. It doesn't seem like he's salty towards Montreal, but there's no question he wants to come in and put a big performance on. But I think he understands they went with a quarterback in Davis that has more upside, and it hasn't looked wrong. Davis is not losing very often.
Yeah, and this is personal for both of these players. You talked about how Cody said he was looking forward to playing in this game and just being honest, and I'm sure McLeod Bethel-Thompson feels the same way. But you can't allow your emotions to overtake you because they will impact your game in a negative way, in my opinion. You have to just go out there and do what you're capable of doing. You know, you're put in this position for a reason. These teams feel that you can help them win games, and that hasn't been the case for Cody yet. But McLeod has won a game. Last week, he wasn't even able to get his team across the 45-yard line. So both of these guys are capable of doing great things. We know that. They both help teams win Grey Cups, and I'm excited to see what they can do. But as I mentioned, you can't allow your emotions to overtake yourself and think, I need to win this game knowing this is the ultimate team game.
Who has more pressure on them tonight? I mean, the Elks haven't won the game since they beat the Ottawa Red Blacks. And on the flip side for the Montreal Alouettes, I mean, you look at MBT's stats in the last game, and they were not good. They absolutely were not. But the fact that there are so many injuries on this team right now, you could use that kind of as a buffer. But in terms of, playing in Montreal and really, the Elks can't drop to 1-7, can they? No,
without a doubt. I think Cody has more pressure on him because there's still a guy on his roster who some people still want to play. Still want him to be their franchise quarterback. So Cody has pressure on him because he's played well, but he hadn't won. So they're like, well, hold on. Why do we have him in there? Yeah, he's playing well, but he hadn't won. We had that with our guy.
I think McLeod has more pressure.
You think so?
Yeah, the expectations, this roster around McLeod is excellent. They're winning before he got there, and before he was the starting quarterback, they're winning. He's got there, they haven't been able to win. I mean, it's on him. The opposite for Edmonton. When Trey was out there, their offense wasn't moving the ball. They weren't getting shots down the field. Now they're getting shots down the field with Cody. Their offense is more explosive. They look better. Everyone around thinks it's been an upgrade. I think there's way more pressure on McLeod.
But you don't win as Cody, then the question is going to be, okay, what are we doing putting you on there? And we got to talk about the future, which, Milt, I know you always say, what's the point of thinking about the future? But if you don't win and you're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, then let's think about the future. And it's going to be Trey Ford that comes up in the conversation.
And another thing, with Cody's situation, there is a guy who can play. Let's be honest. With McLeod Bethel-Thompson, I don't know how much they believe in the guy who's behind him. Evident by what they did last week with Evans.
Yeah, they put him in.
And they took him out. So there's no pressure there to say, okay, I got somebody behind me.
And you know what, too? We've heard those teammate comments in Edmonton, too. I mean, they believe in Cody. We absolutely do. And you know what? I believe the Montreal Expos will be back at some point. How great is this? Andre Dawson's going to be in the house tonight, too. It's Expos night. That might be one of the greatest logos, by the way.
Good move.
Bring them back. We got plenty more, including Luke Wilson, coming up right after the break. Finally, a change happening in Edmonton. The Elks have seen enough of Trey Ford. It will be the veteran in Cody Fajardo.
Throws on the move, wide open. Cutting back is Julian Grant. A couple of touchdown passes later, and don't look now.
They want Cody to be their guy, and right now he's their guy.
Fajardo drops back to pass. Has it over the receiver. It's Rankin. Touchdown.
this team has completely changed since Cody Fajardo has stepped onto that field.
The red-hot Stampeders welcome the Alouettes to McMahon Stadium. Out to his right. Look at that. It's intercepted on the near side. Guess who? It's Adrian Green. Mills barreling his way towards the end zone, and he's in. Clash of Grey Cup contenders as the Riders pay a visit to the Alouettes. Bethel Thompson looking to throw again. And is that intercepted? Riders defense continues to cause nightmares. The Alouettes take one on the chin tonight.
Well, it was a rough outing for this man, as we've been mentioning, completing just 15 of 26 pass attempts with 126 yards and INT in week number 9. It was a blowout. He is looking for a bounce-back performance tonight with more on the QBs. Here's Davis and Milt with head-to-head.
This edition of head-to-head, we're going quarterbacks, Bill. We're going McLeod Bethel Thompson. His number is 291.5. Why are you making this face? I believe he's going over. I'm guessing you're going under by the look on your face. Go ahead. You go first then, man. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going under. And it's not all on McLeod. It's on the fact that I don't think he has enough arsenal on the field with him. I mean, he's missing his two best receivers in Philpott and Austin Mack. And I know they brought Alexander Hollins in. He played his first game last week, but he didn't have one reception. They haven't found that chemistry yet. And just the other guys out there, Speaker and Rambo and C, they're okay, but they're not enough for him to get 291 yards. Now, he won't be as bad as he was last week. I mean, he can't be much worse than that, where he only threw for 126 yards, but 291.5, he won't get over that.
Yeah, you make a good point, because Rambo hasn't been the guy we expected from Rambo. Rambo, I thought he had a bigger year. He has not done that. Of course, Mack being out, it's a big deal. But when I look at the other side, they haven't been able to run the ball. I think he goes over. Montreal last week averaged just over 3 yards a carry. I think they have to throw the ball to win this game. If they're trailing Milt, they have to throw the ball in the second half, in the third, fourth quarter. They'll get some numbers. I like the over because of the lack of run game. I get where you're going. I'm going over. You're going under.
Yep.
This edition of Head to Head.
We now bring in our Luke Wilson. And Luke, you were part of that smoke delay in Saskatchewan. The game, of course, getting postponed by a day. You and I barely made it to Winnipeg for the broadcast as well. There was concerns that there would be smoke in Montreal, but tell me this. I know you're a bit of a meteorologist. It is all clear in Montreal this evening?
Yeah, Ken, I wear a lot of hats for this league right now. Meteorologist is the new one. And I'll say this, it's very humid. and it's very warm, but the breeze is coming in, the sun's going down, and it seems like there's not a lot of smoke here. And that's as far as my meteorology goes.
You know what? We can take that. We can take heat and humidity. That's perfectly fine. Just no smoke this evening. Now, maybe the Montreal Alouettes would like to throw a little smoke at one Cody Fajardo this evening. And I think all of us on the panel were saying, you know, Cody's played really great in his last 2 starts. Obviously, he hasn't picked up the win. I guess the only criticism, and this has been pretty much throughout his entire career, Cody tends to hang on to that ball a little longer than most starting QBs. And you know that Montreal pass rush has been absolutely fantastic. And this is something you're going to be looking at tonight, correct?
Definitely, Kate. You know, you talk about a quarterback, and everyone loves to talk about the physical attributes, but to me, the mental side of it is just as important. And you look at how well he's played. I think a lot of it has been pre-snap making these decisions. You look last week here, you only have 5 linemen blocking. So what do you do here? You replace the pressure with the ball. That's a very common theme. So we're sliding right here. We get the ball out right away. We got a free hitter. He knows it's coming. Quick slant there or now route. This is pre-snap decisions he make. Same thing here. If you look, this is a field pressure. When I say pressure, not blitz, because they're only bringing 5. He realizes he had the protection the other way. See how he takes a little drift there? Buys some extra time, gets his man. Here again, you got cover 0. This is pre-snap. You motion the back out, so you only have 5 linemen blocking. So he knows, hey, I got to get this ball out real quick. What do we do? Bam, take a couple steps, ball out. Our receiver makes a great play. Gets a huge chunk of yards here because he breaks the tackle. So again, these are pre-snap decisions, and this was probably my favorite one. This is going to end up working like man. You sit here and you've got these crossing routes, and that's the shot you want to take. You wait, okay, they make a mistake, they pass it off. The hit that he took here was unbelievable. You know, he stayed in there. He fights in the pocket. He buys as much time as he can. He knows in cover 1 where he wants to go. He reads it out. To me, he's going to have to make a lot of those plays today for the Elks if they want to be successful.
We'll see what he can do, and certainly on the flip side right now for the Montreal Alouettes, it is all about the injuries. Of course, it starts with their starting QB, Davis Alexander, who's currently on the 6th game. Joining him now, Marc-Antoine Ducroix, Kabian Ento, Austin Mack, and also Tyson Philpott still out as well. Recently, Milt got to sit down with Austin.
I call you a big social media star. You go hard on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
And I see you do your little Pilates, you're stretching. I see you working out in the sand when you're on vacation. But more than anything,
yes, sir,
you're really posting about your family, about your wife, about your 2 daughters. Talk about that, how important family is to you.
Yeah, man, that's your why. Everything I do is for them. When I had my first daughter, I tell people this all the time, she kind of like got my stuff together. Like, it's hard to explain, but fatherhood just clicked a different light because it wasn't just me taking care of myself anymore or, you know, trying to grow with my wife. It was real. Now somebody's looking up to you for everything. And you gotta, you know, start acting like, you know, a father, a great leader, a great husband, and the things that you want to implement into what you will be in 30 years. When you close your eyes and you look and dream about what that image is of yourself, for me, it was being a great father and a great husband, first and foremost, and really building a legacy. And they're my everything. For me, that's the foundation of growth in our family and something that we really hold high.
Is this the best receiving core in the CFL right now?
Yeah, I think we're very good, and a lot of people don't know about the guys. So, for example, Coach Speaker, Tyler Snead might not be the most flashy guys, but these are guys that are great receivers. Charleston Rambo, he's going to take off. And then obviously, you've seen what Tyson did. If he didn't get hurt last year, he would have done, you know, been a 1,000-yard receiver, had all the touchdowns. Now you add all of us, we're unguardable.
Last question. I like to end with this. And you can't answer, Grey Cup champion. At the end of the 2025 season, Austin Mack will be
a CFL All-Star. I'll be a 1,000-yard receiver. Those are check marks already. That's the expectation.
Those are given, huh?
Those are given. Yes, sir.
I like it. Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Milt, I must ask, of all the players that you sat down with, are any of them currently playing?
They're all injured.
Is it this?
I think Jalen may play this week.
There you go.
Bagleton and
you're like the
Max,
Madden curse.
Stay away from
there you go. If for any players that are watching watching this, when they say, hi, would you like to do, the preseason sit-downs? Not with Milt Spiegel. Don't worry, come on over to my interview booth. All those guys are doing just fine. You know what, though, looking at these injuries, and I said off the top of the show, I mean, 4 guys were signed for this Montreal Alouettes team. They started off so well. I mean, a lot of us had them coming out of the East. They were playing exceptionally well. Then they get hit by this injury bug. Is it too much for them right now? I mean, it's only week 10, thank goodness. This is a long CFL season, but can they overcome this?
I think they can still overcome it. It's tough, obviously, going through this at this stage in the season, and you never want to get in a situation like this, of course. But you look at the offense, specifically speaking, with the receivers that they lost, Austin Mack as well as Philpott. These are 2 big playmakers for this offense, and they have to find ways to duplicate what they actually bring to this offense. They bring in Hollins. We talked about the fact that he didn't do much last week, and they have Snead and they have Speaker as well, who are 2 guys that contribute greatly to this offense. But in my opinion, these guys are secondary, and they're great at what they do when they're secondary options. They got to find a big play guy in Hollins tonight if they want to be successful.
A key, I'm looking at the back end of Montreal's defense, and Hamlin is starting at safety for Montreal, and then Ciante, who you play with, Ciante.
Yep.
He's a vet guy. I don't think there'll be a huge drop-off there, but what I think will be a factor in this is this disguise. I mean, Cody knows what this defense does as well as anybody. Now, pre-snap, if you got 2 new guys in your secondary and you're trying to give different looks to Cody, who's seen your looks a million times in practice, I think there's a little bit of an advantage for Cody there with guys who might not want to move around. There's one thing about disguising. You never want to put yourself out of position with your pre-snap disguise. That might be an issue, something we'll watch for tonight.
So what? So what? You know? Injuries part of the game. We've been injured before. We miss games, and they can't allow that to seep in. Because, these Elks are saying, we need to win a game. We don't care who's out there. So the Montreal Alouettes have to have that mindset. Like, okay, yeah, we are missing some starters, some key players, but so what? We still got to go out there and win a game. We're in a hole right now. We got to get that momentum back. Hamilton just lost the game. We have an opportunity to get on par with them. So let's go out there and play. We don't care who's out there. We're all professional athletes, so what? That's the answer.
You're just saying so what because they're all injured because you sat down with them.
That's not it, Kay.
I think it is. I think it is. You're trying to cover yourself here. True?
Hey, if you're a new guy coming in right now, you talk about Ciante being a vet. If I'm Cody, I'm testing him out right off the bat.
Agreed.
Off the streets?
Agreed. No, off the streets. Goodness gracious. Justin Rankin coming off another big game, 69 yards on the ground. Here he is with Kenzie.
Justin, we look at the last 2 games. It's come down to the final possession. So how do you guys carry that momentum into a game like this tonight?
Yeah, just, take what we did, in the 4th and kind of bring it into this and just finish in the 4th. That's the biggest thing, just, sustaining drives and being able to finish, when it matters.
Setting the tone, always important as well. How does this offense take control early on in this game?
Yeah, set the tone from the jump. The first drive, we want points. That's the goal. So just making sure, we're limiting our 2 and outs and being able to sustain drives. That's the biggest thing.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, guess what? I just found 3 new analysts. You going to say so what to that, Milt Spiegel? So what? Let them come in. Let them try TV. I just found them off the street.
So what?
They're going to be guys. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, no, they're good.
CFL Fantasy is back, and this season, it's bigger than ever. More highlights, more heroes, more fantasy firepower. Challenge your friends in weekly head-to-head matchups or chase season-long bragging rights. Whether you're riding with the stars or digging up clutch sleepers, the road to glory starts with your picks. Play every week for a shot at the grand prize, a VIP trip to the 112th Grey Cup. CFL Fantasy, your team, your league, your win. Join now at gamezone.cfl.ca.
Hi, STE. What a good guy, just passing the ball with a couple of fans. By the way, sold out crowd in Hamilton last night. Another packed house in Montreal tonight. Shout out to CFL fans, the absolute best. Here's Kenzie standing by with Tyrese Beverette.
Well, Tyrese, you kind of told me this week sometimes it's better to face adversity earlier on in the season than later. So how does this team bounce back tonight?
Just being what we've been. We know last game didn't define us. Like I said, we didn't dwell on it. We just used it as a lesson. In a long season, sometimes you need that type of lesson.
Very familiar quarterback on that other side with your defense and Noel Thorpe. How do you disrupt his rhythm here tonight?
First and foremost, stop the run. That's what they pride themselves in, and just put pressure on Cody. He's a good quarterback. We know he's going to come out and fight, especially this one. He probably circled it on his calendar, but that doesn't change anything we do.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
He absolutely circled this one on his calendar. When it comes to the Elks D now, it's been an interesting go. Look, when they signed all these guys in the offseason, we looked at it on paper. That looked fantastic. It really did. Brought in a ton of guys from the Toronto Argonauts. I mean, literally, it was littered with talent. We also said this may take a few games to gel. Well, it's taken more than a few games. But, okay, I know you're shaking your head, but honestly, over the last 2 games, Milt, they have been a lot better. Give them credit for that. A lot better. Last 2 games.
They've been better. They've been better. You spoke of these last 2 games. I think they've given up, what, average like 24 points a game. First 5, it was like 34. They've been better, but they have to be much better than what they are. They still haven't won those games, you know? And defensively, they have, what, 5 sacks? 1 interception. That's Jake Serezna has the 1 interception. They only forced 7 turnovers. This team offensively, Edmonton, 12 turnovers offensively, and they forced 7. They're -5. That defense has to be better. They've been better than what they were, but they got to be better than what they were.
When you talk about the run game, I like Brinkman, and that's about the extent of what, you know, the great things that you've seen from this defense. You talk about the sacks, the pressure. You don't see enough. You look at the top 10 guys in the league with sacks, you don't see any Edmonton Elks out there on that list, and they got to improve. They got to do better. They can't continue on like this. Too many racks, not enough sacks on this D-line.
Like that.
Montreal, with Cody going back, I thought Cody said something interesting. I think there's an advantage for Montreal's defense against Cody versus they both seen each other.
Yeah.
And Cody made this point. He said that there's an advantage. Yes, Noel Thorpe has seen Cody. Cody's seen their defense, but he said it's easier for me easier for the defense to change what they do than for me to change who I am. The advantage goes to the defense against Cody. I thought that was a good point.
Yeah.
And very true. Advantage, Montreal. They know what Cody can do well.
Interesting.
And can't do, and he's got the advantage.
All right, you know what? This should be a fascinating matchup. And you know Cody wants this so bad. So does MBT, and MBT needs it after that performance last week. Should be a great one. Friday Night Football coming up right after this.
When you blow it high, dog.
Anytime's great for football, but I know when it feels just right.
I'm gonna kick back, relax.
Watching football on a Friday night.
And we're going to be hard to tame.
Eagle Rock!